Ooh, what a game. What a game we just watched between the Los Angeles Rams and the Carolina Panthers. Panthers fans, I just want to say hold your heads up high, Panthers fans. Nobody thought you deserved to be in the playoffs, okay? Nobody. And you 100% did not deserve to be in the playoffs. You had absolutely no business hosting a playoff game with an 8-9 record and losing 3 of your last 4 to close out the season. But you took the Rams down to the wire. Okay, you showed that as long as you can get into the playoffs, that anything can almost happen in the NFL. All right? Be proud of almost doing it. God dang it. Let me get my correct. Oh, no. Oh, hold on. My fucking mic's not on. Oh, I started the show and I don't even have the right microphone. That's a real Panthers move by me. Hold on. Push pause. Push mental pause on your brain while I switch to the right mic. I know you hear me, but I'm going through my computer mic. Oh, I fucked this up right off the get-go. Oh, I was so ready. I did everything except turn on my correct microphone. Hold on. There, now I sound better, right? Now I'm ready for the postseason. Okay, let's start. We're not going to start all the way over. God dang it. I was really ready to go. Anyway, Carolina, you almost won. You almost won. The curse wheel almost worked and almost took down the Rams. The Panthers almost used their very own Michael Jackson to heal the world and make it a better place. But since you lost, Carolina, the world is not going to be a better place. And when humanity collapses, it will be the 2025/2026 Carolina Panthers' fault. Okay? Carolina was basically a defensive stop away from shocking the Rams. I thought once Carolina scored at the end there, they might actually do it. But with 2.5 minutes on the clock, Matthew Stafford channeled his inner MVP, diced up at the time, banged up Panthers secondary. Was Michael Jackson out there? I know they had that play where the Panthers defenders ran into each other, and I think they had a guy out at the end there, and I think that kind of changed the way they were doing things. I felt like Ejiro Evero should have stayed aggressive on that final series. It was like they went to that prevent defense, and then Stafford just carved them until he threw that final game-winning touchdown to Colby Parkinson. The craziest part of this game is the Panthers made about a half dozen mistakes in the first half. Like really dumb, silly mistakes. When they started the game going forward on 4th down on their opening drive in their own territory, and Bryce Young whiffed on a swing pass. He had an open Tetaroa McMillan early. Trevor Etienne muffs a punt. But at halftime, Carolina was down just 3 points. So they were close despite not playing well, which is a sign of being a good team. Like good football teams, when they make mistakes, they overcome them. And Carolina almost did against a very talented Rams team. So I want to get into this game a little bit, talk to you guys about it. I know Packers, Bears is happening right now. I'll get to the super chats at the end of this. So we'll do it. We'll do it together. I'm Brandon Perna. This is That's Good Sports. Please consider subscribing to this YouTube channel. That's how I make a living. Oh, I said I said I will get to the super chats at the end of the show, but we are in the process of getting the Chubby Panther shirt up over at benchwarmershop.com. So the Chubby Panther shirt, we just got to get you got to get it sampled correctly through our vendor, but that shirt is going up on benchwarmershop.com. That is my coffee company. That's where you can get all the Curse logo shirts And this season was a great season for the Curse Wheel and the Curse Logos. Also, today's episode sponsored by Prize Picks and my code TGS. If you're going to play in any daily fantasy through the playoffs, just use my code TGS when you sign up at Prize Picks. When you make your first $5 deposit, they'll give you $50 in lineups. They've been sponsoring the show all year. But back to the Panthers and the Rams, okay? I want to start with the guy who I started to like last year, at the end of last year, and he had a huge game. It's Panthers receiver Jalen Coker. It was the Coke show, all right? Jalen Coker came on strong at the end of last year. He had that 110-yard game against the Dallas Cowboys. He caught all 7 targets in the final game last year for 62 yards in that overtime win over the Falcons. But this was his breakout performance in prime time, 134 yards and a touchdown. It was like every time Bryce Young needed a play late, Coker was there. The second stud for the Panthers, Michael Jackson. Corner, Michael Jackson. Mike Jackson. He's been really good all season. He picked Stafford in this game late in a big moment that helped propel the Panthers, I think, into that last touchdown or the touchdown before, one of their late game leads. He picked Stafford in the first game this season, pick sixed it, I believe. And I love seeing a guy who's bounced around the league emerge as a legit starter. He's going to be able to set himself up for the rest of his life. You can play corner in the NFL, you're going to make some money, and he played really well in this game. Multiple plays, multiple passes defended, a few key moments. And it's tough because, like, if you search Michael Jackson on Twitter, you're going to get 4,000 results of the King of Pop before you get to see the Panthers corner Michael Jackson that you're looking for. But Coker, Michael Jackson, they played well. Bryce Young, he played well too. Not a great first half from Bryce Young. And I think what you kind of see with Bryce Young is when he does scramble to make a play, I think where he's lacking, and it's his arm strength when he's trying to make a play on the, when he extends a play. A guy like Bryce Young, I wish he just had a little more arm talent to make those off-platform throws. A lot of the times he was scrambling and he would throw the ball to an area where nobody was really around. But he scored. Did he score the first touchdown of the game for Carolina? I believe it was a rushing touchdown. I think he's a little sneaky dangerous with his legs. He finished with 264 yards, that touchdown. Stafford had the quietest 300-yard game that you'll see. Stafford started off very hot. He was 8 for 8 to start this game. Couple touchdowns to Puka, and then got cold until, the last few drives there where the Rams really needed Matthew Stafford to lead them to victory. But the final drive, I think that's like the fact that the Panthers, they scored a touchdown late to retake the lead. And the touchdown in that moment was also important because it put them up by 4 points. And there's 2.5 minutes left. And their defense had been good. You see the Rams with like 34 points. You're like, how is their defense good? Their defense was pretty good against the Rams. And I really thought they were going to be able to get a stop. There was a couple plays too where some balls kind of got tipped and defended, and Carolina was close, but not close enough to getting a pick. So I think Will and I thought when we were having a script ready, if the Panthers did win, we thought maybe the Panthers would get an interception on that final drive. Stafford had already thrown one. He just looked kind of off late in that game, but they just let the Rams march down the field. And, they get that touchdown to Colby Parkinson. And the drive before, too, it was a touchdown pass to Kyren Williams. He was just open in the flat. There was nobody there, and he kind of walked into the end zone. But, like, what I thought early, that very first decision, and I'm sure some people are going to like that the Panthers went for it on 4th and 1 on their opening drive in their own territory. I did not like that move. It put the Rams in tremendous field position. It was an easy touchdown for Stafford to Puka Nacua on their opening offensive drive that they started at like it was a 30, 35-yard line. And in a game like this, you do want to be aggressive if you're the Panthers. You do want to have the balls to go for it. But that first one put them in a hole right away. And then they lose their tackle. Icky went down, got carted off the field early. I was like, oh, fuck. This is going to spin out of control for the Panthers. This is going to get bad. Puka scores again right away. I think he had 6 catches to start the game. 2 of them were touchdowns. He was close to 100 receiving yards. Like at the end of the first quarter, it looked like it was going to be bad. So I think the Panthers deserve a lot of credit for stopping the bleed. Even if some of the bleeding was self-inflicted wounds early in this game, Carolina, they stopped it. They patched it up. They were in the ambulance on their way to the hospital. They made it a game. And even it was Bryce Young's interception. It was Jalen Coker kind of stopped on a route early. I think he didn't want to get lit up on that play. But that first pick Bryce threw wasn't even like necessarily his fault. Maybe he's putting the ball in a bad spot for his receiver. But yeah, the Rams were up 14-0. And then the Panthers muffed a punt. It's like, oh shit, this is going to get really bad. That came a little later, I think. I'm trying to look through my notes when they actually muffed the punt. They muffed the punt, but the Panthers got a big stop on 4th down. And that's, so Carolina muffs that punt. The defense gets them a stop on 4th down. Then Bryce Young rushes it in for a score. They cut the lead to 3 right before halftime. All of that's impressive. In a game like this, when you're a team with a losing record and you're in the playoffs and all that bad shit starts happening, I think it's very rare where you see a team that's actually able to turn it around and almost defeat a team that is as good as the Rams. Now, the Rams have not been playing their best football lately, and I think the Rams should be worried and concerned about some of these issues. But I think like this game, even though the Panthers didn't win it, like it sets up the fan base. I think it sets up the team to believe in what they are building, to continue to piece it together for next year, and that they can go into next season with some optimism, right? With some optimism. And I think that's a big thing for the Panthers. Like, I think there were so many questions that they would have had, maybe some firings that would be happening if they don't get in the playoffs and if they don't put up this fight against the Rams. That's why it's so significant for the Panthers. That's why the Panthers are probably going to be the story about this game, even though they didn't win. And I would probably take some attention and heat off the Rams as they move forward. But the Panthers should feel good about their ability to add a few pieces this offseason, free agency, the draft, and be able to compete next year. And we all know the NFC South's a winnable division. Very winnable. They're close. They're close, is my thought there. The Carolina Panthers are closer than we wanted to give them credit for heading into this game. What else? Let me look at my last notes here. Yeah, so it was like the first sack that the Panthers... There's only one sack in this game of Matthew Stafford. That didn't come until almost the end of the third quarter. That sack backed up the Rams, and that's when Stafford threw that pick to Michael Jackson. After that interception, Carolina answered. It was one of Bryce Young's best moments. That's when he hits Jalen Coker. They get a big chunk play there, and then I think Chuba Hubbard finished off that drive. So, they made plays. They've got some playmakers. Tedorota McMillan's been good all season. Jalen Coker's really good. If they can get more out of Xavier Legette consistently, that's 3 nice receivers to work with. But yes, the Panthers did waste the curse wheel. The Rams got cursed, and it almost worked. And I like the Rams. I love Matthew Stafford. I really wanted him to get that first Super Bowl ring. If the Rams are in the Super Bowl, it's going to depend on who they're playing. They're like a team that I will be rooting for. But I was rooting so hard against them in this game. One, for the curse wheel to be correct, but then I wanted the upset. I'll always pull for an underdog. The Panthers were huge underdogs in this game, and I couldn't help but just really want Carolina to get the victory there. They weren't able to do it, but it was a good game, Carolina. Not a perfect game. And I have to wonder if they just made better decisions in that first half, if they would have won this game, if they would have run away with it at some point. But it's, that's always a tricky road to go down. One play, if it goes a certain way, it really sets up a chain reaction of events that you can't predict through the course of a game. So sad for my Panthers, but hell of an effort. Lot to improve, but proud of the team. Yeah, I think that's how Panthers fans should feel. Kind of the way the Falcons probably were feeling, the way they ended the season. They couldn't get into the playoffs, but everything went well for them. Right now, it's Panthers, Falcons, those fan bases and teams probably feel a little bit better about themselves than the Buccaneers right now. The Saints probably feel better than the Buccaneers right now. It's an interesting division. Defense is just so thin on talent. Fitterer and Rule, let's see, sap the Panthers a debt. Still good progress this year. Keep pounding. Yeah, depth really emerges for teams when you do get to the playoffs. But I think the Panthers got some pieces in their secondary. Keep pounding. Next year will be fun. Yeah, I hope so, Carolina. I hope so. Curse wheel failed me. Told my Packers fan I'd watch the game with him. Can't even speak. I'm so let down. I know. I think Panthers fans probably went into this game, said, we don't think we're going to win it. We are happy to be here. Let's just not get embarrassed. And you didn't. You didn't get embarrassed. And then you almost had a chance to win it. You didn't win it either, but at least the narrative and the perception of a losing team in the playoffs for this year, this round, the Panthers at least made it feel like they should be there, that they earned the right to represent the NFC South. As a Panthers fan, this is the first playoff loss I haven't felt sad after. The more experienced team did enough to win. Exciting future ahead. Yeah, look, as a Broncos fan, I kind of compare it to where the Broncos were last season. They snuck into the playoffs. Denver had to beat, the Kansas City Chiefs backups last year to get in the playoffs. A lot of people didn't feel like the Broncos really deserved to be there, right? Everybody kind of wanted the Bengals to get in. They thought the Bengals had a better chance to, hang with some teams in the postseason. Denver had to play the Bills in the first round, and the Panthers played the Rams much better than the Broncos played the Bills in the playoffs last year. The Broncos started that game hot, and then they didn't score after their first touchdown. So even though Denver was a legit playoff team last year, right? They had a winning record. They got in on a winning record. They got worked by the Bills. It didn't look like they really belonged there, but it was a net positive for Broncos fans. And I was like, I didn't even care that the Broncos lost that game to the Bills. I was like, I was just happy to be back in the playoffs. So the Panthers were happy to be in the playoffs, hosting a playoff game. And the Rams had to score a touchdown in the final 2 minutes just to get that win. So yeah, it's a good loss. You don't have to be miserable about this loss. And that's always nice as a fan. Colts fan, but I got a Super Bowl Peyton Manning Broncos jersey for Christmas. Coincidence? Oh, hell yeah, Seabass. Hell yeah, Seabass. You saying the Broncos are going to go to the Super Bowl? You saying the Broncos are going to the Super Bowl, Seabass? Anyway, that was a fun game. I wasn't really even planning on doing a live stream after that game, but you forced me. You forced me to do it, Carolina. Good luck to you next year. And I'm going to get to watching this Bears-Packers game. Packers got a 7-3 lead. I need to know what's going on. Appreciate you guys. I'll be live streaming the Bills-Jags game tomorrow, so come hang out for that. And, of course, we'll have winners and losers up as soon as we can on either Monday night or Tuesday morning. See you guys. Good job, Panthers. Keep on pounding. Keep fucking pounding, Carolina.